All right. This next one is weird. I don't know anything about this weapon except for the way it used to work and might still work. They're the NDB repeaters. And this is from Average Aardvark, and it's titled Too Taboo, or Can We Use NDB Repeaters in Star Citizen 318? Too taboo. How it used to work is as they heated up, they would do more damage. I wonder if they're like overpowered or something. I'm not sure why. I don't know anything about this. So I've always used the whatever the red lasers are from Hurston, and that's pretty much it. So let's see what this is all about.
Well, this place has NDBs. You're gonna have to remember that the NDBs are in Hurl 5. I go back and forth though, because like
In the
I
way
want to
here.
use them because they're fun and they look cool and sound cool, but you know people get mad at you, and I have
Or
to
seat up the
decide.
attritions.
Like, do I care
So what's special
if
about
people
NDBs?
Get mad that I use NDBs? Is it like a weird thing that people get mad, or is it legitimate? You know, that's what I'm trying to decide. So on the one hand, like yeah, you don't want to be crashing.
NDBs these
Not
nuts.
crashing. You don't want to be dropping other
Okay.
people's frames.
That's
if
a
they
good
have
one.
Bad PCs, but then again, you're like, not my fault.
By
if
the
you
way,
have a
Mr.
bad
Dead
PC, you know?
Set, thank you.
I don't know.
Sivad,
I haven't decided
thank you
yet,
for all the
'cause
bits. Appreciate it.
I feel like I don't know, you can't play a game and worry about
NDBs do more at close range.
what other people have, right? That's crazy. Only in this game would you actually worry about other people's frame rates. Only in Star Citizen.
Oh, that's right. They mess up people's frame rates.
And then that's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's like if I'm playing Apex, I'm not like, oh, this gun might drop this guy's frames if I use the L-Star, you know, or because I'm
That's
sure that
right.
does happen. Like it's got to be a thing, right? It's got to be a thing in other games. We just don't care because it's another game. But somehow in Star Citizen, because it's an alpha or who knows why we care, we do care. I don't know, there seems to be like a moral imperative in Star Citizen that's not, it's not in other games. And
There isn't. There's, you just have a YouTube channel or you just like read Spectrum and people get mad about stuff and you read it, right? But like the difference is, and I think he's like kind of right in the sense of like, because it's an alpha, people are more along the lines of not doing these things, not because it's an alpha and it's for testing purposes, but because nothing matters. There's no game to compete in like there is like leaderboards and things like that in I don't, Apex was I think the reference that he gave, right? So there's like actual things people are trying to achieve in those games. There's actually winning in that game. So winning at all costs is what everyone's doing. What is anybody doing in Star Citizen right now? So the idea of anybody using anything that might be broken is maybe a little bit more frowned upon, or just like pointless.
it makes sense that it wouldn't be in other games because normally the video games I play are about killing people. And you're not really worried too much about, you know, moral imperatives when you're killing people.
Thank you.
Although you can kill someone in a moral way, I guess.
I don't think it's about killing people.
I
It's
guess
about
because
competitive
it's not
nature.
an in-game thing, even though it is. It's like, but it's not like cheating though, you know, because obviously cheating is adding something into the game for only you that gives you an advantage, whereas this is in-game, but some people can't use them or deal with someone else using them because, or I should say, someone else's game can't deal with other people using them because of...
You know what I think? I think everybody should use them so they fix it. Because it's an alpha.
You know, the frame drop thing. And it does drop frames for both parties, the person using the NDBs and the person receiving the NDBs, but if the person using the NDBs has a better PC and the person receiving the NDB fire has a PC that's on the very shelf of being good enough for the game or not, then you might drop that person's frames so low that they can't operate. You know, it's like, here's what I think. I'll tell you what I think. using NDBs in the game is fair enough. It's fair. All is
Sure.
fair in war. However, if you want to be a nice guy, you won't use them. And I'm just trying to decide, am I going to be a nice
If placed on the Gladius nose, you'll go blind? Really?
guy, or am I going to be a guy who's going to have fun regardless of the cost to other players? I don't know, because it's fun using NDBs. They're cool, they're different. What I've done in the past is, like, if I have a ship and I'm playing PvP, right? NDBs for bounty hunting, who cares? If this is all about PvP, if I'm playing PvP, if I'm going after real life bounties or real life people, I'm okay with using NDBs if it's like M50 versus Gladius, right? Because I'm at a very large
He's got attritions on his ship
in, like,
right
an
now,
off-meta ship. So I think if you have an off-meta ship, NDBs all the way, right? Because it's like a way to make up for, if you have a good PC, a way to make up for your disadvantage, I guess. Because then you can't really claim, like, if you're in a Gladius and you get beat by an M50 with NDBs, you can't really claim.
If all else fails, attack their frames. I mean, that's whatever. I'm just on the camp of, if there's some, like, something that's giving you an advantage, they're never going to fix it if people don't
drop
use
frames,
it.
like, bro, you're in a Gladius. It's just, like I said, it only matters if your PC is right on the edge of being good enough anyway. Me personally, if someone attacked me with NDBs,
Is the video audio too low? I'll raise it a little
personally,
bit.
that's me. I wouldn't have a problem. I'll say, oh, NDB is cool, whatever. I'm aware that I might drop some frames. Got to be extra careful, but it's fair. It's in the game. It's fair. I think what people say a lot that rubs me the wrong way is, like, you will say if it's in the game, it's fair, but they say, oh, it's an alpha, so just because it's in the game doesn't make it, you know, actually part of the game because it's an alpha and we're playtesting and we have to have, you know, in good faith. I don't think so. I mean, especially now,
I agree with that wholeheartedly. You should be even more brutal in the alpha than you would be in the normal game, because none of it matters, and you should just abuse everything so it's found before the actual game goes out.
far enough in. It's in the game. It's in the game, man. Like, they know what they're doing. They know what's in the game. This some stuff like distortion. Like, if you come
should we not use this quantum drive because it lowers
with distortions? I'm like, okay, well, that's really lame. I'm gonna complain about it being really lame, but I'm not gonna complain that you're cheating or that you're somehow, like people do with NDBs. I'm not gonna complain that, like, oh, you're using like an exploit. You know, it's just cheesy. And maybe NDBs are a little cheesy. Maybe that's what it is. I'd be willing to concede that. But at the end of the day, like Seeker 9s. Seeker 9s are cheesy. No one complains about that. At the end of the day, if you're trying to dogfight in good faith, and that's a time when good faith does apply. Here's the thing. They made me travel all the way from Orison to Lyria, from Crusader to Arcorp, just for the dude to fly himself into the surface of the moon and die. Yeah, so I mean, there's cheesy.
My favorite thing about this guy, he talks just like Deadly Slob.
Stuff that I'll complain about, because the thing is, you can use cheesy stuff as long as you're just memeing. You know, if you're trolling, EMPs, distortions, you can't say, oh, I was better than you. You know, it's like if you use an OP thing. If you cheese your way to victory, you still won. You're definitely still the victor, and it's all is fair. But it would be weird to just like multiple people versus one person. You know, if you 2v1 a guy and that one guy beats both of you, he's got major rights to brag about that, right? Obviously, he's better. He's just so much better that even two of you couldn't take him out. But
when is he going to show them in action? He's not using them. So this is just like a clip of one of his live streams, probably, where you just like get into this conversation, and he felt like sharing it on YouTube, and I'm glad he did. I would like to see them in action too. I got advice not to use them. I didn't know why. I think I know why now, but the idea of doing that, they are the coolest looking guns. They're like whitish blue. They're really sick looking. But yeah, it is what it is. If they're in the game, they're not going to, and they're not going to fix it. Use them.
attack one guy and you beat that one guy, there's really nothing to brag about. You know, if you had lost, it would have been a tragedy. You know, that would have been bad. So you can say,
no evidence
we won.
shown. I don't think there's any needed. I think it's sort of out there and widely known. If you guys are just coming to the channel because I see somebody in Twitch chat saying that now, the issue with NBDs is when you fire them on certain people's PCs and even your own, you can like drop frames pretty heavily, and it like messes things up, and they haven't fixed it yet.
GG's. You can't say like, "Oh, we won, you suck," you know, like you could if you were the one who beat the two. It's just, I feel like it's the same thing, like with distortions.
Yeah, I think
or
you should have done some
like, you
B-roll
don't come
to
out
make
in
the
a
video better,
retaliator
but
and Seeker 9 somebody.
Maybe a fairly small channel. Yeah, you know, 1,000 sub channel. You know, he's getting up there. The video doesn't have a ton of views, so you know you can just assume. You know, fairly new out there. I hope he hears this and help him out a little bit. I think taking some time out, knowing that this is a good conversation topic is why he posted it on YouTube. But adding a little bit of context to the video would have been a lot better.
And be like, "Oh, you suck. I'm so much better than you," because, you know, there's no skill involved in that. If you're dumb firing, then maybe, especially with a retaliator. If you dumb fire kill on a moving flying ship with a retaliator, you've got bragging rights. But you see what I mean. I mean, maybe NDBs falls into that category of like all's fair, but you don't get to brag about it. Just like spamming missiles. If you spam missiles, I think the respectable dogfighter.
I think bragging after you win a dogfight or PvP or anything is super cringe. Like, I will fist pump and get super hyped if I win a fight. I think you guys all saw Fight or Flight a couple years ago or whatever. I was hyped, but I wasn't rubbing it in anyone's face, right? I was so excited that I won the fights that I did, and that was it. And because it was exciting. But I mean, listen, will I teabag you for content? Yes. But that's about the extent that I'll take it.
Doesn't use missiles. They use laser repeaters or ballistics. And that's normally what's considered a duel. You know, if you're going to have a duel, I think even ballistics, I think repeaters all the way. If you're going to say, I dogfight people and I am better than them, if I win, then it's laser repeaters and that's it. And if you beat someone in a 1v1 dogfight with, you know, some cheese thing, you might actually be better than them, but you don't know. That's the problem. Like, you might be better than them, but you only really know you're better than someone if you use the same loadout as they use. And I think the standard PvP loadout in Star Citizen for, you know, respectable PvPers is always just going to be laser repeaters on a light fighter with all the, you know, normal components and stuff. 1v1, you know, that's that way in every game. When you 1v1 someone in Call of Duty, you use the same gun. It's all about the premise, right? If you go into Star Citizen and you're like, let's 1v1, I will bring whatever I want to bring, you bring whatever you want to bring, then that is enough.
It's kind of lame that everything that isn't repeaters equals cheese. I don't think anyone's saying that. Everything that isn't repeaters is kind of... I think we all know that ballistics is in this weird state of mind. Like it's just in a weird place. I wouldn't necessarily call it cheese, but I wouldn't call it good, you know? And also respectable PvPers.
Another way to determine, like, because better doesn't always mean mechanical skill, you know, it's mental. So if you say bring whatever you want to bring, and I bring an Idris with a full crew of gunners, and you bring, you know, whatever, and I win, then it's like, oh, yeah, I'm better than you because I was smarter. But if you say dogfight in light fighters, it's assumed, you know, you're not going to bring some.
I can't believe we've been having this conversation about how messed up the weapons are at the moment for how long? CitizenCon 2021? 2020? How long have they changed since they brought it to this like baseline thing that they did?
Something weird. And even then, just even with like distortions, I wouldn't be. Distortions only really work well with two people, one with distortions and one with like a regular guns to finish it off. So I'm not saying distortions 1v1 are like super OP or something. I'm just saying there is kind of an honor system in Star Citizen, and I appreciate that there is that. But also, unless it's a predetermined duel, anything goes, man. I wish they would fix that FPS issue, because I really want to use NDBs on everything, because they're
so
cool. They sound cool and they look cool. Maybe I will run an NDB arrow just for kicks. Who cares? At the end of the day, it's a game, man. It's a game.
Yeah, I like this guy's attitude. I like him a lot. This guy seems really cool. So I'm glad we watched that video. For me, it is just a game. Who cares? And in the end, there is winning in Star Citizen, and you should do whatever you want. Whatever's winning to you, you should do whatever you need to do it. I don't think NDBs are really giving you any super advantage or anything like that. I've heard of this frame rate drop. I've never seen it. But yeah, I don't know. So we'll have to see. But generally, like his attitude, like what he did with his YouTube channel, you know, taking his little Twitch stream conversation and putting it there. So cool.